everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having an amazing day and thank you so much for joining me. Now if these clothes and this look looks familiar to you, it's because before I started shooting this video, I shot another video and that was how to apply foundation on your skin. So if you haven't checked that video out, I'm going to link it up on the screen. So please go ahead and check that video out and come back right here. So in this video, we're going to talk all about applying eyeshadow. I mean, eyeshadow, it sounds so simple, right? Pick up an eyeshadow on your finger maybe, dab it all over your eyelids and apply an eyeliner, mascara, and you're good, right? But there are so many steps sometimes that make eyeshadows overwhelming, especially when you involve all these kinds of brushes with it. These are some of my absolute favorite brushes, and I also did a video on my top brushes for beginners. Again, if you haven't checked that out, click on that link up on the screen and that will take you right to my favorite brushes for beginners. For your eyeshadows, the only two things that you need is an eyeshadow palette, an eyeshadow pod, a single eyeshadow, a blush maybe, and an eyeshadow primer. Now you could really get away with not using an eyeshadow primer if your eyelids are amazing, first of all, or if your eyelids don't crease too much, or your eyelids don't get oily, or if you don't have any of those concerns, feel free to leave your eyeshadow primer out. But I do love using my Milani eyeshadow primer because when you use an eyeshadow primer, and I've talked about this so many times in my previous videos, your eyeshadow gets something to cling onto and just stay on your eyelids. Because sometimes when your eyeshadow doesn't stick to your lids, one reason could be the quality of that eyeshadow in the first place. That eyeshadow might not be great at all, or your eyeshadows don't have something to stick on the skin of your eyelids, so that is why it just it just melts off of your eyelids or just like goes everywhere. So I would really suggest, if you are facing all those problems, go ahead and buy a nice eyeshadow primer. If you don't want to do that, you could also use your concealer, dab a little bit on your lids and blend it all out. It would not only like clear out or cancel out any discoloration that you might have on your eyelids, but it would give your eyeshadow a nice clean base to stick onto, and that is how you'll also be able to achieve the perfect pigmentation that you expect from that eyeshadow. Enough of chatter, let's get on with today's video. Now, like I said before, I did go ahead and apply my foundation and concealer and set my face before I did this video. First thing that I'm going to do is take some of this Milani eyeshadow primer. I'm just going to take a very little amount, this much. So I'm going to rub this in between my fingers, and this might actually be more than I actually need. Okay, so I'm just going to dab it on my lids, and with my fingers, with the warmth of my fingers, just blend it on top of my lids. Now this is going to give your eyeshadows something to adhere to, something to stick onto, and that's how you'll get the maximum color payoff that you're actually expecting from your eyeshadow. And then whatever's left, I'm going to take it on the lower lash line because I do love applying eyeshadow there as well. Alright, so even before I start my eyeshadow application, I just want to give you a heads up that don't be overwhelmed by the number of brushes that I'm going to use in this video. I'm actually going to use different types of brushes that I have to apply one single eyeshadow because I just want to show you what kind of look you can achieve with what kind of brush. So don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to use brushes. You can easily just take your finger, put in your eyeshadow, apply it all over your eyelids, and that can be it for your eyeshadow look. Just wanted to give you a heads up before you get scared and be like, oh my god, I don't have 10 brushes to do my look today. I'll never be able to do an eyeshadow look. No, you don't need brushes. Your fingers are more than enough to do your entire face. Trust me. Like I said, I'm going to use one single eyeshadow today and just show you how you can apply that in different areas of your lid. Like, this is an amazing canvas. I love using as many eyeshadows as I possibly can, but this video is actually going to be a challenge for me because I'm going to use only one eyeshadow in this look. I think I'm going to use this shade called Love Letter, this shade right here. I'm going to use that shade only to do my entire eye look today. Brace yourself, have some water, and let's do this. This is how I like to do my eyeshadows. I start with my crease, then go on my lids, then my outer V, then my lower lash line. That is how I do it. Your method may be totally different, totally opposite of what I do, so to each his own. So the first brush that I'm using is a blending brush, and a blending brush is like a fluffy brush which is pinched towards the bottom and then just flares out on the top. It has a lot of give, so you can use this with or without an eyeshadow. If you have a really like intense look going on, you can use this bare to just fluff out the edges and just make things look even. So I'm going to take the shade Love Letter, and every time any eyeshadow you use, any brand eyeshadow you use, whenever you dip your brush in the palette, tap off the excess, and every time, like I've said this so many times, anywhere you place your brush, that's where you get the most intensity of that product. So you don't want to start off with a huge amount of eyeshadow. Like imagine if you're using a dark eyeshadow, you don't want to start with the most amount of eyeshadow. You want to take it slow, because once you have that on your eyes, and if it goes bad, if it goes wrong, there's no turning back. So start off with a small amount and then build the intensity. And you might have heard these terms thrown around in a lot of videos: windshield wiper motion and circular motion. Now what a windshield wiper motion is going to do is just distribute the product evenly through whatever area you are applying it to. So like a windshield wiper on your car, this is the motion you do. And when you do circular motions, you're just trying to build up the intensity of that product. And I like to not only use the windshield wiper motion, but I like to do it in conjunction with the circular motion. So as I'm blending the eyeshadow, I like to intensify that shade on my lid. Too many words, I know. Take it slow. Watch this video again if you have to, but yeah, just get the basics right, and then you can build up your expertise from there. All right, the other thing that I want to talk is when you're using brushes, you don't want to hold it like a pen. You don't want to hold it right here, because when you do this, you can't really see where your shadow is, right? Your hand is blocking your view. So you want to hold this like really like towards the end. I like to hold it somewhere around here, and use a very light hand. Use a very light hand with your brush, like really delicate motions. So I'm going to start off with my crease right here, and I'm going to show you both the windshield wiper motion and the circular motion in this video. So when you do a windshield wiper motion, you're basically just doing that. You see how my hand stays where it is, and just my wrist is doing all the work. So at this moment, I'm just evenly distributing the color in my crease. And you always want to be looking down in your mirror so you can see exactly where you are placing your eyeshadow. Now I know this looks a little patchy, doesn't look even at all, doesn't look pretty, but we'll get there. All right, the next thing we're going to do is do circular motions. So when you do circular motions, you are trying to blend and build the intensity at the same time. And try to move your eyelids if you have to. Try to do whatever you can to just give that brush some space on your lids. And once in a while, look right in front so you can see what exactly a person who's standing right in front of you can see on your lids. So now I'm going to combine both of the methods that I just showed you. So not only using circular motions, but I'm also using windshield wiper motions. So it just depends. Makeup is a lot of like trial and error. You just have to try different things and see what works best for you. And do you see, this is all the color that I picked just once on my brush. So now if I feel like I want to intensify this shade even more, I'm going to go back in my palette and get more color, tap off the excess, and then start building that shade if I want to. That is it. That is what I want in my crease, and that's how we use this blending brush. The next brush that I'm going to use is this flat eyeshadow brush, and this brush is amazing if you want to pack eyeshadow on your lids. So again, I'm gonna go in that same shade, and the technique with this brush is a little different. You want to lay it flat and collect all the shadow on your brush. Obviously tap off the excess, and you're still left with a lot of color on this brush. And then I'm gonna just pack this shadow on my lids, and this is basically again holding your brush towards the end, just keeping a light loose motion with your wrist, and I'm just going to like pack it on my lid. And I might have to go in a second time in that eyeshadow. Again, every time you pick up eyeshadow, you need to tap off the excess. So do you see the change in the shades that we're getting from the exact same eyeshadow? When I use it with a blending brush, the eyeshadow in here on my crease is much more diffused, but when I'm packing this on my lid, do you see how intense that shade is? That is what I wanted to show you when you use different eyeshadow brushes on your lids. Sometimes I don't like to pack and pull as much. I just like to like pat it on my eyelids, and sometimes some shadows give you a better payoff in that way. Okay, that is it. I'm again gonna go in my blending brush and just blend out the edges of this shadow, because I don't want like a harsh line where I've applied my shadow. I want everything to look blended and diffused. Alright, so the next brush that I'm going to use is this Real Techniques base shadow brush. Now even though it says base shadow brush, I don't use it for my eyeshadow base. I use it to apply or intensify any eyeshadow that I want in my crease. So this brush is like pinched on the bottom again. It flares up on the top, but do you see the shape of this brush is a little different from our other blending brush. So it just gives me like a precise point to intensify shadows that I want. So I'm going to go in the same Love Letter shade right here, tap off the excess, and I'm going to intensify this in my crease. Again, holding it on the end, keeping my wrist loose, using some windshield wiper motion, and then using some circular motions to just intensify the shade in my crease, and then blend it out using windshield wiper motions. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Next, I'm going to take this much more defined brush. So this is an e.l.f. eyeshadow brush, and I love using this because it has a much more like pointed, defined top, flat end, and I can use this to intensify my outer V, because if I want some dark shade to just be really, really precise on the outer V, I can use this and place the eyeshadow right on the outer V to intensify that color. So again, taking the same love letter shade, tapping off the excess and just placing, like tapping and placing the eyeshadow that I want on the outer V. I don't need a lot of it, but I'm just showing you how this can be done. And then again, just trying to blend it all in my crease. And the last brush that I like to use is this small accent brush, again from Real Techniques. It's so tiny and precise. I find this to be perfect to like add some light in my inner corner. I also love using this right on my lower lash line, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to collect some of this eyeshadow on this brush, tap off the excess, and just go in my lower lash line. So I'm trying to be very, very close to my lower lash line. You can totally skip applying eyeshadow on your lower lash line, but I just feel like when you put a similar shade in your lower lash line, it just blends all of the look together. I am actually loving this one shadow look today. It's been a very, very long time since I used a single eyeshadow to do my entire look. Absolutely love this challenge. Alright, so there you have it. This is our eyeshadow look using all these 5 brushes. Now again, like I said, you don't need all those brushes. Just use your finger to dip it in your eyeshadow and pack it on your lids and you'll be good. But because I just wanted to show you application using my brushes, that's what I did. Alright, so the last thing that I'm going to do is actually highlight my brow bone area, and I'm not going to use that same love letter pinky shade to do that. I'm going to use the shade called Vermeer, which is like a champagne-y shimmery shade. I'm going to take this on a other fluffy kind of brush. Again, tap off the excess. This has a lot of fallout. Even love letter had tons of fallout, and I'm just going to take it under my brow bone to just highlight it a little bit. And I feel like it just lifts your eyebrow a little bit. Alright guys, so there you have it. This is my finished eyeshadow look on this eye. I'm really gonna go and apply shadow on the other side and meet you right back. So this is my finished look, guys. I finished my eyes with some black eyeliner, some mascara. I also popped in a black eyeliner in my waterline to just define my eyes a little bit today. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope the idea of applying an eyeshadow is not as daunting to you as it was maybe before watching this video. I hope everything I said in this video made sense to you. I hope my methods, the brushes that I used to apply my eyeshadows with, and everything that I said made sense to you. I hope this video was helpful. If this video was helpful to you, please share it with your friends and family who may be struggling with the idea of makeup or may have any questions about makeup and are just scared of maybe applying makeup on their faces. It's not as scary, trust me. So again, I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you enjoyed spending your time with me, and if you did, don't forget to give it a nice big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video, which is every Friday. And on that note, take good care of yourselves, and I shall see you in my next one. Bye.